Welcome to the Sisters of the Shire Podcast. I'm Abby, and together with my co-host Ashley, we are on a mission to make Tolkien's works easier to understand for everyone and showing our love and appreciation for the beautiful world he created, one book at a time.
This season, we are breaking down the unfinished tales, and if you have already read this book like me, high five to you, my friend, but also feel free to stick around. We might just uncover something maybe you didn't notice before, or perhaps you just want to geek out with us. That's okay too. This is a good place for it.
Or maybe, like me, you've read some other of Tolkien's more popular books like The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, and always wanted to read the backstories that seemed a little intimidating, but didn't have the time or the concentration to understand the more intricate books that were written. So this is a place for you too.
Are you ready to learn all about the unfinished tales?
Let's go! Me! Let's go!
Pick me! Me! Okay. I will never forget when DVD menus started being interactive and Shrek.
I was just going to say.
The DVD menu. Yeah. If you ever left the DVD menus on, it would just like nonstop on a running circuit every 10 minutes. Me! Pick me! Me!
Yeah. I knew exactly what you were talking about before you even said Shrek. When you said the DVD menus, I'm like, of Shrek in my brain.
Oh, man. Good times.
Good times.
So,
well,
Abby, you sound a little under the weather.
What do you mean? I sound great.
I mean, you're beautiful. You're amazing. You just maybe aren't sounding quite 100%. I'll just say.
You caught me. No, I was, it's so weird because I am a stay-at-home mom with my toddler who doesn't go to preschool, who just stays home with me, and the only really outing that we do is the library story time, and even then he doesn't even really touch or go up to other toddlers. And for some reason, I don't know how I got so sick and no one else in my house is sick except me. And then, like, I started feeling like straight garbage on Thursday. And then now my son, he started feeling sick. My infant, or my toddler, started feeling sick like a few days after me. And now my older son is feeling sick. And I'm like, it was definitely me. It was definitely my fault. Like, I got them sick. But where?
You're the problem. It's you.
Gosh darn heck did I get this from? Because I can normally blame my children. I can be like, oh, that was definitely from my
100%.
child who brought it home 100%. From school.
They're carriers.
But no, it was me. They're the little plague rats of motherhood. But no, it was my fault. The best though was I was sitting on the couch with my little baby boy who's also not feeling good, and we just had a box of Kleenex between us and a blanket, and he's like just patting my leg like, it's okay, Mom, I feel sick too. And I'm like, it's okay, like, we'll get through this together. But it was just cute. There. I know, he was like patting my leg like, it's okay, it's all right. Like, aww. Yeah. Or like if I cough, he'll like pat my back like, get it out, just get it all out, you're fine. So I know.
Your kids have such big hearts.
I know. And it was a rough morning for us too, because we were trying to make everyone feel better, because me and my boys, my daughter and my husband are fine, but me and my boys were not feeling good. And
for
so my
now.
Husband was like, I know. My husband was like, let's pick up the energy a little bit. Let's have some fun. And so I put on my youngest son's favorite song on our speaker, and he like got up and he was so excited and he was dancing and he was running around and dancing and he had the biggest smile on his face, and he tripped and he hit our wall, like face planted our wall. And now he has a black eye. And it's so sad. And then, so he was instantly, literally, the song was on for like 2 seconds. Happiness lasted for 2 seconds, and then he hit the wall. And then we like comforted him. He has a huge black eye now. And then my daughter tried to make him feel better. She's like, okay, let's go. Like, can you tickle me? Let's like, she was trying to like have him run around and be happy. She's like, come on, come on. They were running in the living room and the kitchen. Like, not running, but like just like playful running.
Yeah.
And he hits our granite countertop with his forehead so hard. like literally like 5 seconds after that other thing. And we're like, okay.
It's not in the cards for us today, is it, buddy?
I know. So we're like, okay, we're calling it quits on feeling better.
Just give in. Just give in.
I know.
Oh, man.
I know. Ashley.
Yes.
Ashley, are you saving your money? Are you saving your days off work? Are you saving your PTO? Maybe a babysitter will be involved. Maybe not. Are you ready?
For what?
Are you ready for when they're remastering and re-releasing the extended versions of The Lord of the Rings in theaters?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I went to Return of the King with my nephew, with Peyton, 2 years ago or something. It was so good. I don't know why, just seeing it in the theater. Just
three extended versions. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Okay. So if any of you get to go do the 3-day-long marathon of The Lord of the Rings, please let us know. Send us your pictures at the theater. We'll post them on our Instagram. We love it.
Heck yes. And we'll be with you in
I don't know if it's a around the world thing. It might just be a United States thing. So, but I hope it's a around the world thing. If it is, please show us pictures if you guys go, because that's awesome.
I just want to know, would it be ruining it to ask for subtitles? Like, how many would actually rather it be with subtitles? I want to vote. Also, I want to apologize for last week. Yes, we did have some microphone issues with Abby. You might have missed her in like the last, I don't know. There was one like a big gap where she wasn't there. I'm sorry.
I was there. I was.
She was. And she had so many funny things to say, but it did it get recorded? It did not. And I like was trying to make it still work because I like was having a conversation with myself for a good like 20 minutes apparently. I'm sorry. It wasn't on purpose. It was the darn robots of the computer. I don't know what happened, but it was not intentional.
They're rising against us.
They are. But, you know, I know that was a while ago because we took that week off. But what can you tell me about what you remember?
Oh, I remember they were on their journey. They're on their road trip.
Mm-hmm.
And Tuor, who is a very happy-go-lucky guy, I feel. Like he's very like cool with things, was kind of getting a little confused and kind of like, are we going the right way? But he didn't really like want to say anything because he's like, this guy's like an ancient elf. He probably knows more than me. I guess he knows what he's doing. And then they were like going through, and Voronwe was telling his trauma, his past,
his origin story,
his traumatic past. And Tuor's like, whoa. Like, you and I have things in common. That's pretty cool. And then they go to a place
where the
was
happy
like really
water
beautiful.
was.
It used to be really beautiful, or something like that.
It used to be really beautiful,
and it wasn't like that anymore. And then like Voronwe's like, I've got a bad feeling about this. Oh, if he would have said that, that would have been great. But he was like, I don't, the vibes here are off. And then they found out that they found some evidence. I don't know if it was like tracks or
they saw claw marks and like a big like furrow into the ground where obviously a dragon had like laid down.
And then Voronwe's like, we gotta go. We gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
What is that scene in Jurassic Park where they're in the car and like he can't move? What's his name? Dr. something. Jeff
It's not
Goldblum's
Hammond.
character.
Malcolm.
Dr. Malcolm, and he's like, go now, go,
Yeah.
we must go. Like, let's go right now, let's leave. Because he can't like move, and so he's like there in the back of the car, and he sees the dinosaur coming. That's why I feel like Roadway's like, let's go, let's leave, let's go now, let's leave.
Yes.
And then
Do you remember who they randomly saw?
I was just gonna say they were there. in my head, this is how it goes. They're standing in the woods in this beautiful place, and they're like, "What happened here?" And then it's like that TikTok sound where it's like a car driving by with like loud music, and it's like just like a guy running like really fast, like screaming weird things, like they're like, what was that? Okay, let's keep going.
Yeah.
That's how it is. So he did like a drive-by of like running by. They don't know.
But he like radiated this like grief and like tragedy with him that just kind of like just even in their like short they didn't even interact, just in the being in the mere presence of Turin just automatically brought Tuor and Voronwe just down, like just the vibe he was giving. He just, like,
he's a Dementor.
Yes.
He like would buy the like, ugh, did you get a chill? The vibe's way down, bro.
Yeah. Here chocolate helps with that.
And then there was something like you were talking about last time about like this really bad winter.
Yes, the fell winter.
Like, did it kill a lot of people or like?
It just is really bad. Like, it's the worst of the entire age. It's just like the worst. It makes everything awful.
So either was that coming? Like, was that about to happen?
Oh, no, they're in it.
Oh, they're in it. Okay.
Yeah.
So they were like, I don't know if they're like out in the wilderness or they like stopped or something. And one of them said like, should we just give up and die in this cold?
Pretty much. That's actually a good way of putting it. Like, I don't think they're actually suggesting it. They're just kind of like, well, we could just fall asleep in the snow, or I guess we could go on. Yeah, I guess we'll go on. Like, it's like, a resignation kind of thing. But yeah, they decide to go on, but yeah, they're both running on empty. The food is gone because there's no like foraging because it's the winter. Hunting is hard because it's the winter. It's really hard to walk around because there's like snow and stuff. It's really cold.
Do you think Voronwe
and just miserable
on top of the snow like they depict? Like,
I think so, but it's still not fun.
So, do you think that they also like did the thing in the cartoons where like Tuor looks at Voronwe and he turns into like a hot dog, like talking to him because he's like so hungry, and then like
it'd be like a turkey leg.
Yeah. What Voronwe turns?
And Voronwe looks at him and sees. So Voronwe turns into a turkey leg, and Tuor turns into let's see, like a lembas.
Vegetables.
A tomato.
Salad.
Yes. Little romaine heart, just like
no,
talking
a piece of corn, and then his hair is the corn, like the golden hair.
I like it. Yes. All right. Well, that's how we left things last week, and we're just going to continue on in that horrible, horrible time. So just in case I didn't make it clear, they are trudging through the woods, through the mountains. It is cold, windy, and it's probably either snowing or raining or both. They're both weak from hunger, tired from their journey, and freezing cold. That's just setting the scene for you.
My tail is cold, and my nose is cold, and my toes are cold.
Yes. Quote, therefore, all through that bitter day, they toiled on. In the deepening dusk, they came to the highway at the bottom of a tall wooded bank. Now, this highway is not literally a car highway, obviously. They didn't have cars then. But a highway is like a high traffic way. So this was a very well-traveled road that was alongside the river Sirion, which, as we've mentioned before, is one of the most important rivers in Beleriand. Very popular, very important, very significant for the story. So it's very well-traveled. So they are immediately wary of crossing this highway. Quote, suddenly, there were voices. They were aware of voices, and looking out warily from the trees, they saw a red light below. A company of orcs was encamped in the midst of the road, huddled about a large wood fire. So they haven't really talked about seeing orcs like until now. Like they haven't really like come across them. They've basically been just under the radar this whole time, but this is their first like closest sighting of an orc pack. Now, as soon as Tuor sees the orcs, he says something that honestly, like the guy on Audible, it makes it sound like a bad word. I wish I could like play it on the air. He's like, Girth and Glamoth. I'm like, what did you like? Excuse you, like.
Voronwe's like, oh, love it.
You kiss your mother with that mouth. It doesn't actually mean anything bad, but it just, the way that the Audible guy says it, I don't know, you'd have to hear it. But luckily, Christopher gave us a footnote here as to what it translates to. Well, kind of. He says it means death to the Glamhoth, which is only half helpful because we don't know what Glamhoth means. And even in the footnotes, it says, you know, this term isn't really used in the Silmarillion or in the Lord of the Rings, but needless to say, it is a Sindarin term for orcs. But some of the listed translations are host of tumult or a noisy horde. So like glam means noise and hoth means host. So Glamhoth, noisy host, meaning orcs, because apparently they're really loud and noisy, and that's like the worst thing you could do in Middle Earth. So
to elves,
if you really
they're sensitive hearing.
To elf, right? So if you really want to make a connection from this term to other Tolkien works, you know, it happens, but it's just really obscure. So like it references the term glam in The Hobbit for the sword Gandalf uses, Glamdring. But it's kind of a stretch because they say that Glamdring means foe hammer. So it's like noisy host hammer, like, noise hammer. Like it doesn't quite like equal out, but that's what they're supposed to be referencing. I don't know. It's kind of a stretch. But anyways, after Tuor swears, he sees the group and, you know, death to the orcs or death to the noisy ones. And then he says, quote, now the sword shall come from under the cloak. I will risk death for mastery of that fire, and even the meat of orcs would be a prize.
Ooh.
Yeah. Now, remember, Tuor is probably not at his best, like, especially mentally. You know, fatigue and hunger does weird things to the brain. But he's not meaning to eat the orcs, right? Like, even the meat of orcs would be a prize. Like, they didn't do that, right? Right? Like, it makes me wonder.
I know.
But either way, Tuor is losing it.
I mean, if they're hungry enough.
Maybe. His irrational mind wants to take out this group of orcs. But luckily, Voronwe is the voice of reason here. He says, quote, nay, on this quest only the cloak will serve. You must forego the fire, or else forego Turgon. This band is not alone in the wild. Cannot your mortal sight see the far flame of the other posts in the north and to the south? A tumult will bring a host upon us. Hearken to me, Tuor. It is against the law of the hidden kingdom that any should approach the gates with foes at their heels. And that law I will not break, neither for Ulmo's bidding, nor for death. Rouse the orcs, and I leave you.
Oh, that's the ultimate, like, parent move. It's like,
oh, I know.
If you do this, I swear.
Yeah. But, like, you know, you think of all this, like, throughout this journey, you want to think that they're, like, being buddies, but, like, no. Voronwe is strictly business here. Like, he's not giving an inch.
I mean, like, he's obviously not happy with his current...
His
his
role in being Tuor's tour guide.
Yeah, and, you know, he didn't choose to do this, and then he's like, listen, this is a tough job. I already don't want to do it. I mean, I like you, but this is, like, a tough job. But, so, like, if you mess us up for being thick-headed and, like, can't control your anger, I swear, I will turn this around, and I will go out.
Like, if you want to attack them, we would be screwed. We'd be running away, and then we're going to run to Gondolin? No, we can't, because Gondolin has a strict no orcs policy. It says so here in the pamphlet. So we can't do that, okay?
Also, you left your cool, like, weapons back there and didn't give me anything. So...
yeah.
And
you want me to fight them with a fish?
And all I have are probably some, like, wind or ocean torn clothes, and I'm trying to just, like, live my life this way. I probably made a jacket out of squirrels or something, but that's all I have.
No. Oh no. The squirrels have to be alive, right? That's the only way Voronwe would do it. That makes it even more funny. Is that silly, Oakley? So, yeah. So then Tuor says, then let them be. But may I live yet to see the day when I need not sneak aside from a handful of orcs like a cow dog.
Do you think he, like...
I can see Tuor, crazy eyes Tuor. He wants to get these orcs so bad, and then just be like, fine.
Pouting.
Yes.
And he sticks
very
his tongue
much
out
pouting.
at them. He sticks his tongue out at them. A rude hand gesture. Tuor, you're pushing the limit.
But then, if we needed any more evidence that Tuor is the golden retriever, we're getting it right here. Because then Voronwe says, come then, debate no more, or they will scent us. Follow me. Like, come on, Tuor. Come on, boy. Come on. Like,
come on. Let's go. Do you want a snack? I've got a snack over here. Let's go.
Yeah. So they do move away from the orcs, but they're not quite crossing the highway yet. The river Sirion flows north to south, as does the highway. But Voronwe and Tuor are traveling from west to east. So now is the time. They came across this orc settlement, orc pack camp thing, like on the outskirts of the highway. So they're still needing to cross the official highway. And they are trying to be very, very careful because it's a freaking highway. You never know who's crossing, who's traveling there.
Wait, can I wait? Hold on. Before you start, I learned something. What did you in England? I think it's just England, maybe Wales, maybe Scotland. I'm not sure. They still call people who mug you on the street highwaymen. That's like the still used term for someone who mugs you on the street. It's still called a highwayman because of like how they used to do it back then.
That is awesome.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay. Quote, there Voronwe stood still a long while listening. He says, I hear none moving on the road, but we know not what may be lurking in the shadows. He peered forward into the gloom and shuddered. The air is evil. Alas, yonder lies the land of our quest and hope of life, but death walks between. Like, they're so close to their goal, but this highway is just really out in the open. Apparently, it smells really evil. Not sure how that smells or looks.
I mean,
but
orcs, a bunch of orcs probably smelled really, really bad.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Did they not take their baths, Oakley? Did they not brush their teeth? The oaks are yucky. Orcs are yucky.
They were literally bored of mud. I feel like they never took a shower after that,
Right? Yeah. So now it's time. Tuor is going to be the brave one here. He says, quote, "Death is all about us, but I have strength left only for the shortest road. Here I must cross or perish. I will trust to the mantle of Ulmo, and you also it shall cover. Now I will lead." Dude, this is the most direct path. I'm getting to Gondolin if it kills me, okay? Now get under this seaweed invisibility cloak with me and let's just do this.
He takes his cloak and he's like, "It's my time. It's Tuor time."
Yes. Quote, "So saying, he stole to the border of the road. Then, clasping Voronwe close, he cast about them both the folds of the gray cloak of the Lord of Waters and stepped forth." I love that he's like, "Okay, get underneath. Get close now."
It's like the invisibility cloak.
Oh, it is. Quote, "All was still. The cold wind sighed as it swept down the ancient road. Then suddenly it too fell silent. In the pause, Tuor felt a change in the air, as if the breath from the land of Morgoth had failed a while, and faint as a memory of the sea came a breeze from the west, as a gray mist on the wind. They passed over the stony street and entered a thicket on its eastern brink." So somehow, by putting on this cloak, from afar, almost like, "I got you." And he sends in a sea breeze, some ocean fog, maybe some seagull cries, and ocean wave white noise, whatever he thinks might help give these guys some cover. He's like, "I got you. We're going to do this stealthily, Ulmo style."
Do you think that it I don't know how to explain it. When it puts it on, and he's wearing it, but then when he's like, "I'm gonna actually use it," then the powers work.
He has to press the button or something.
Hold on, it's not charged. Dang it! Oh man.
Ah. So, with Ulmo's mystical assistance and Tuor's determination, they made it across the highway just fine, and they went on to Gondolin and lived happily ever after. Right, Oakley? It's all gonna be great. Wrong. Not happily ever after.
Ah, man.
Quote, "All at once, from near at hand, there came a wild cry, and many others along the borders of the road answered it. A harsh horn blared, and there was the sound of running feet."
Huh?
Whoa. Ruh-roh.
Huh?
Sound the alarm! Oh, you think that's funny? So you think Ulmo helping them would have given, them some credence, they just let them have this one chance to get across smoothly. But no, nothing can go right. They have to make things all difficult and hard.
Of course, it's the off-brand of the Silmarillion.
But, quote, "Tuor held on. He had learned enough of the tongue of the orcs in his captivity to know the meaning of those cries. The watchers had scented them and heard them, but they were not seen. The hunt was out." Geez, how good are these orcs with their scent? Have Tuor and Voronwe really been stinking it up with no bathing their entire journey?
Well, do you think it's because they're part elf? Maybe they have better.
Maybe, yeah.
Sniffers.
Yeah. And also, how much noise could they possibly have made? They're literally under a cloak and they're crossing a road and then they have to go into a thicket. So going into the thicket, I guess, makes noise, but I feel like they could have been quiet, but I also imagine them both trying to fit under the cloak, trying to walk together. Maybe Tuor is taller than Voronwe, so he has to crouch down, and so they're tripping over each other, trying to walk, and "You stepped on my foot!"
It's "You stole my foot!"
Yeah.
Or
is that funny?
Yeah.
So funny. Quote, desperately, he stumbled and crept forward with Voronwe at his side up a long slope deep in bushes, among knots of rowan and low birch. At the top of the ridge, they halted, listening to the shouts behind and the crashing of the orcs in the undergrowth below. So they have to run together underneath a cloak, uphill, through bushes, tripping on roots, probably getting whipped in the face by low-hanging branches, all with orcs chasing after their sound because running through the bushes wasn't quiet, and their scent. So,
and also they're probably
fire
dark because of how like they said the fire was glowing. It's probably dark, so they're probably running through like couldn't see anything.
Yeah. Quote,
is it I have to wonder, is it like the invisibility cloak where like you can see through it while you're wearing it, or is it like you can't see through it at all?
They have to poke holes in it so they can see.
Yeah, it's like a ghost costume.
Quote, beside them was a boulder that reared its head out of a tangle of heath and brambles, and beneath it was such a lair as a hunted beast might seek and hope there to escape pursuit, or at the least with its back to stone to sell its life dearly. Like, awesome! A creepy dark cave that I'm sure isn't occupied by a terrifying animal. Let's hide in there.
And it was literally them getting stuck between a rock and a hard place because they were going into a cave and then there was orcs chasing them. It's like, which one do you
like it? I like it. So they're gonna hide in this rock and a hard place, between the rock and the hard place. Quote, down into the dark shadow Tuor drew Voronwe, and side by side under the gray cloak they lay and panted like tired foxes. No word they spoke, all their heed was in their ears.
Like their blood pulsing through their ears, you can't hear anything. Like,
yes. Yeah.
Which is crazy for an elf, can I say?
Oh, yeah. But also, what does a tired fox look like? All I can think of is the fox from Mary Poppins. Like,
yeah.
Hello. Yeah. I also wonder if some more of the inspiration for how the elven cloaks worked and for the Fellowship came more from these stories than from the actual Lord of the Rings. Because I can't remember. Yeah, when they made it somehow into a rock.
Which I have never understood that scene, because that guy is literally walking towards them. And I'm like, if someone was right there for so long, right in front of me, and a huge mountain, like, and then suddenly they're covered up and then I can't see them. I don't get that.
Mm-hmm. I think it was magical illusion. They saw that, but it was actually literally just Sam with like just literally a piece of fabric in front of him. Like, no, you can't see me.
No, I'm saying like before he covered them up, like Sam and Frodo running down the hill, and then that guy's like walking towards them, and they're still stuck. And then at the very last minute, he throws the cloak over them, and I'm like, if I were that guy, I'd be like, I saw you before. I saw you just do that. You're not hiding from me.
Also, a thought that I didn't have until this part of the story. I wonder what ended up happening with this cloak over the years. Like, did Tuor give it to anyone? Did he pass it down to Erendiel? Like, I wonder, where is that cloak now?
Maybe that's what was, I don't know. Maybe.
Like, so Erendiel then gave it to Elrond. Elrond studied it, and was like, hey, Galadriel, this is a really cool cloak. You should try and like figure out how Ulmo did this. Use your magic. And then that's where the recipe of the cloaks came from. It was Galadriel studying the cloak. I have no idea. I'm making stuff up, but it's plausible in my brain. So
maybe it's at his library. It's hanging out as an artifact.
Yes. Quote, the cries of the hunters grew fainter, for the orcs thrust never deep into the wild lands at either hand, but swept rather down and up the road. Like, they don't really do woods. They like the nice flat road better. It's actually in their contract with Morgoth that they only investigate 100 feet off of the road. So once they get past that point, they're like, I'm giving up. Why bother? Sorry.
They're not off-road boots.
Yeah. Now, you might be wondering, why are there so many orcs on this road? Why are the orcs watching this road so carefully? Quote, for Morgoth had set a guard on the highway, not to ensnare Tuor and Voronwe, of whom as yet he knew nothing, nor any coming from the west, but to watch for the Black Sword, lest he should escape and pursue the captives of Nargothrond, bringing help, it might be, out of Doriath.
Ah. And then you see him again do a drive-by yelling.
So, like, you think through all of, like, Morgoth's, like, intel that he would have found out about Tuor and his mission to get to Gondolin, but thanks to the invisibility cloak from Ulmo, thanks to Voronwe keeping them off the radar, you know, Morgoth knows nothing about Tuor and Voronwe. But you know who he does know about? Someone who has been in the thorn in his side and causing all kinds of problems. That guy, Tuorin. And as we know, Tuorin actually already crossed Tuor and Voronwe's path, but he was heading north. But somehow, because of Morgoth's great intel about Tuorin, he knows that Tuorin does have connections in Doriath. It's where he grew up. It's where his elf dad Beleg was from. So it would make sense that Tuorin could go to Doriath to help get help after the destruction of Nargothrond, but unfortunately, Tuorin's not that smart. He's more of a I'll do it myself, no matter what the repercussions are for anyone else kind of a guy. So that didn't end up happening.
Emotions were too strong, and they took over his thinking capacity.
Yeah. So, anyways, now that Tuor and Voronwe have lost the orcs, Tuor's probably feeling a bit at home in his cave. They decide to rest for the night. Quote, Tuor slept beneath Ulmo's cloak, but Voronwe crept forth and stood like a stone, silent, unmoving, piercing the shadows with his elfish eyes. At the break of day, he woke Tuor, and he, creeping out, saw that the weather had indeed for a time relented, and the black clouds were rolled aside. There was a red dawn, and he could see far before him the tops of strange mountains glinting against the Easter fire.
Whoa.
I'm not entirely sure it says Easter fire. Hold on. Eastern? It's probably Eastern fire. Well, it could be Easter fire. Hold on. Now I really need to know this. Eastern fire. Darn it. I tried to catch all these random typos. It could be an Easter fire. And maybe
that's how they celebrate.
But somehow, this red dawn is actually a good sign. And not a bad sign, apparently, that it is other times. You know, like blood has been spilled this night, bad times. But this is a good thing. Because what mountains do you think Voronwe saw?
Where they're supposed to be going.
Yes! Yes. The encircling mountains, the very walls of Gondolin. And seeing them, Voronwe says, and I'm going to try my elvish here, hold on. Alai, ered en ekoriath, ered Embark. Or behold, beautiful. Mountains, thank you. Behold, mountains of encircling, mountains of my home.
Aww.
So he's seeing, like, yeah. Quote, below them, eastward in a deep and shadowy vale, lay Sirion the Fair, renowned in song, and beyond, wrapped in mist, a gray land, climbed from the river to the broken hills at the mountain's feet. So they're at the top of this mountain. They got to go down this kind of ravine, River Sirion, and then mountains of Gondolin. They're so close. I think it's just the encircling mountains. They probably do. They do look like a circle. Yeah,
I remember they do look like a circle.
Yeah. So luckily, Voronwe has led them right to a ford in the River Sirion. And this ford is called Brithiac. Ooh, ah.
Oh.
And it's helpful because this ford makes it easier to cross because, quote, the banks of its deep channel fell away in that place, and its waters, choked by a great waste of stones, were spread out into broad shallows, full of the murmur of fretting streams.
Oh.
So, like, a great waste of stones. Like, that sounds kind of funny, but if you think about what the word Brithiac actually means, it means gravel. So this like a gravel sand bar
Like a
thing.
like a what is that called? Not a beach. What is that called? Shoreline. That's it.
Shoreline, yes. So this is why it's a easier place to cross because it's got all these stones. Quote, at once, Tuor would hasten to the ford, but Voronwe restrained him, saying, over the Brithiac we may not go in open day, nor while any doubt of pursuit remains. So they're starting to get to the point of secrecy here. Like if someone follows them beyond this point, it would not be good. So Voronwe is being like hyper vigilant that they aren't being followed. Meanwhile, Tuor is like, but we're so close. We're so close. I just want to get there. I just want to get there. Can we just go, please? He even tells Voronwe, quote, then shall we sit here and rot? For such doubt will remain while the realm of Morgoth endures. Come, under the shadow of the cloak of Ulmo, we must go forward. Like, what are we waiting for? Let's just go. Like, the invisibility cloak, it'll be fine. No one will be able to see us. We'll just go. It's fine. It's fine.
It's right there.
Yeah. But still, Voronwe is hesitant. You know, he's looking around. He's just like really, really hyper vigilant to keep this secrecy. So he's looking around. Okay, it seems pretty quiet. I don't see anyone. It seems deserted. Then he looks to the sky, and all of a sudden he sees something that makes him very happy. He says, quote, it is well. The Brithiac is guarded still by the enemies of the enemy. The orcs will not follow us here, and under the cloak we may now pass without more doubt.
Oh.
Towards like he's like looking at the sky like, what did you see? Like
Yeah.
His eyes just can't see. Like Voronwe's can. The sun? Like, what's the enemy of the enemy? The sun? I guess that could be the sun.
That's everyone's
But what do you think he saw in the sky, Abby? What do you think he saw?
Is it a bird? Is it a plane? It's
a bird!
A bigger bird!
Yeah. Quote, I see the eagles of the Chrysaegrim, and they are coming hither. Watch a while. And then Tuor can finally see in the distance 3 shapes with strong wings. And he's like, oh, that's an eagle? I thought it was just a speck. Okay, I see it now. And then they kind of like fly around for a while. Like they're clearly like monitoring the area. So seeing that, Voronwe's like, okay, I'm good. If the eagles, we got eyes in the sky, we're good to go. Quote,
the eagles have like headsets and like little Oakley sunglasses on. It's like, you're free, you're clear to go, you're clear to move in.
Yeah.
We're like to gold leader to red leader. We've got some enemies beyond the lines. We need to get them out. Roger that.
And so Voronwe says, quote, if there be any orc nearby, he will be cowering nose to ground until the eagles have gone far away. So, like, they'll be too scared to follow us any further. They're going to be hiding. So, it is still winter, though. And to cross the River Sirion, they are going to have to basically... The river's still flowing, but they're basically like hopping from like rock to rock to get across this river.
In armor?
Well, only Tuor's in armor. But there are some offshoots of streams that are ice. But I like this particular quote here. Quote, but never, not even in the fell winter of the fall of Nargothrond, could the deadly breath of the north freeze the main flood of Sirion.
Whoa.
Now, according to the footnotes, there is one version of the story where Sirion was completely frozen solid, and Tolkien used this as a means of saying, like, even though Morgoth's fell winter made everything harder and more miserable for everyone, we have a silver lining that the river is solid, so it made the river easier to cross and shorten their journey. So, like, yeah, I do see that, but I also do like the idea that the River Sirion being one of the main rivers in Beleriand, therefore, like, a huge source of power for Ulmo, made it invincible to Morgoth's cold. Like, I like that. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, that's actually where I'm going to leave you today, right in front of a river.
Ah, man. Them jumping across the river.
Yeah.
Like Frogger.
Like Frogger. As we traverse Middle-earth together, please don't forget to join us off the air by following us at Sisters of the Shire Podcast on Instagram. There you'll discover our posts of art and hilarious memes, mostly related to our current episodes, but some gems we just simply can't resist sharing with you all. So feel free to stop by, say hi, leave a comment. We promise we are so nice. So nice. We promise.
Yes, and if you post pictures like you going to the 3-day marathon of Lord of the Rings, or maybe a cool costume you made, or some art you made, then we could totally post it. We'll post it on our stories.
Yes, shout out to the peoples, for sure. A heartfelt thank you goes out to our patrons, Dan, our steadfast dwarf friend of the Shire, and Krishane and Tom, our esteemed elf companions of the Shire. Your unwavering support means everything to us. It really does. Like, I can't emphasize enough how much it means that you guys are willing to support us in our podcast, and it just, even just the tiniest bit helps, because we do have to pay for things like the podcasting platform and editing and our microphones and all these other fun things that, you know, it's not a lot, but it still helps.
Yeah.
If you are eager to also help, you can join our fellowship of the podcast by joining us at patreon.com/Sisters of the Shire Podcast. I can talk. We offer 3 tiers for just $3 a month. You'll be
Sisters of the Pyre sounds amazing because it sounds like a podcast, and that's what I want now. Or
that's
like a
witch
podcast. Which podcast?
I'm in. TM. We offer 3 tiers. For $3 a month, you'll be welcomed as an elf friend of the Shire. At $7 a month, you'll join the ranks of our esteemed dwarf friends of the Shire. And for $9 a month, you'll stand proudly alongside our valiant men, women friends of the Shire. And as a token of our appreciation, we might even serenade you with a song. So, or you can, we won't if you pay extra. I mean,
like, we will pay more if you do not sing.
Yeah. Your support really does help, and we really appreciate it. And we'd be happy to promote your podcast or your business or your artwork, whatever you need, in exchange. So lastly, if you found joy in our adventures, please take a moment to leave us a rating and review on your podcast platform. Your feedback fuels our growth and helps connect us with more kindred spirits along this remarkable journey. So please share us with your friends, rate and review, all of the things.
Yes, it means so much.
It does. I mean, I really would like to say we're not vain like that, but no one's left us a rating in a few months now, and it's making me really self-conscious. So please, just can you give my confidence a little bit of a boost? Just a little bit of sunshine. That's all I ask.
Only good rating. Only good ratings.
In world news, Spain took back 13th place. Czech Republic had just taken them over, and Spain's like, nah, not having it. Back at 13th.
They're in a race. They're racing.
It's
neck.
South Africa overtook Singapore. And
Whoa.
someone went on a podcasting binge in Iran because they were 46th and now they are 43rd. They overtook Turkey, Algeria, and Luxembourg. So get it, Iran.
Ooh. Nice. Thank you
Yeah,
for everybody
that's
who's
all I got
listening
for
around the
you.
world.
Yeah, it's so cool. You have so many other people listening from across all these different countries. So many countries. So cool.
I know. Well, thank you for teaching me today.
You are most welcome.
I
Oh.
apologize for my stuffiness, for my congestion.
We love you
Hopefully,
anyways, Abby.
next episode I'll sound more like myself.
But then by then I'll have it though. That's how this
Yeah.
works, remember?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, until next week, I've been Ashley.
And I've been Abby, and this has been the Sisters of the Shire podcast, and we're so happy you joined us today, and we hope that you can join us next time. Bye!
Bye!
Thank you for teaching me a day.
Yay!